Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Dr. Pat Show on the Transformation Talk Radio Network. I'm your surprise guest host today, Trish Campbell. You may recognize me from the Shift podcast, also on the Transformation Talk Radio Network that I co-host with my good friend Diane McClay, and we're part of the Kornelia Stephanie Media Group. Kornelia Stephanie was originally scheduled to be your guest host today, and she's snowed in Washington without internet. So here I am. I'm coming to you from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. And with that, I want to acknowledge the treaty lands and territories of the Mississauga of the Credit First Nation, the Haudenosaunee, the Ojibwe Chippewa, and the Huron-Wendat, and giving gratitude for their stewardship with Mother Earth, allowing us these opportunities and the privileges we have today to come to you on this platform and have these conversations. So I also want to give deepest gratitude to Dr. Pat for allowing us this platform to have these conversations, for her inspiration and modeling, living life full out. I'm a big fan, and we are all about living life full out in the Kornelia Stephanie Media Group. We're going to talk to some of our members today, and we're going to continue the conversation we started last week about enlarging people, enlarging lives. Our expansion and how we serve humanity and helping others do that. So our first guest today is a mindset and business and mindset coach. She is a international speaker, a multiple best-selling author. Her name is Biba Pedron, and she's coming to us from France. And she's also a founding member of the Kornelia Stephanie Media Group app, which we'll get into. Welcome, Biba. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. And thank you for Trish and Kornelia for inviting me.
So happy to have you here. And we're really talking about the work that we're doing, the work that we specifically do, sharing our gifts. That's what we do, and helping others enlarge their lives. So can you share with us how you serve others, what you do and how you do that?
As you mentioned, I'm a business and mindset coach, and I work mainly with women entrepreneurs, and most of them are solo entrepreneurs. And I really teach them not only the marketing, but the most important part is the mindset. In order to have the right marketing, they have to write the mindset. And most of the clients who work with me, following my strategy, they double or triple their revenue in 90 days, just because they come to me for the marketing, but I give them the mindset that allow them to double or triple the prices immediately as soon as we start together. Just because most of women entrepreneurs, and especially solo women entrepreneurs, they don't see and they don't recognize the value. So I reestablish the value, I reestablish the prices. So then people consider them completely differently. And my client, they know they're not allowed to work per hour. You're not supposed to sell like $60 or even $100 an hour. You have an expertise. You learn something, you went to school or you learn it, or that's your experience of life. Why do you want to sell just a piece of your experience? You're not supposed to do that. So that's really what I do. I help them to really work on the mindset in order to be able to recognize the value. And then also I work with women who have a great expertise and have a lot of result with the clients. So each time I try to show them how they bring either an experience or a life transformation to the clients. And the life transformation doesn't have a price. So you can be double, triple, or 10 times more expensive than somebody else. If the person see the transformation that you can bring them, the price is not an issue.
Right. You said a lot, and it is all so valuable. It is so, I so agree with that. Like what you're helping other people do, it's not something you can learn in a textbook, and what your clients are helping others to do as entrepreneurs themselves, it's not something that you can put a price tag on. I mean, and it's that I love that you're helping women develop their mindset, because we a lot of times are our biggest obstacle in in our growth and expansion is getting out of our own way. And sometimes even if we are having success, there's always areas where we can grow and expand. So it's so amazing that you're, offering that help to others. And as we know, being part of this group that we're in, the KS Media Group, it is so much more helpful and fulfilling to do this work with somebody than doing it alone. And it's so amazing to see that you're helping others find those pieces of themselves that can help themselves stand out and really help them share their gifts in the best possible way. So
And it's something that I learned in the United States, because people will probably notice that I have an accent. I come from France, but I live in the US for 20 years. And definitely something that I learned in the US is that you can start your business on your own, but you can't grow it on your own. You need other people. You need the expertise. You can't learn everything on your own. So that's very important. And when I was mentioning the prices, just an example, one of my clients recently, she was charging 280 euro for 7 months, helping people to lose weight. And she can help people to lose more than 50 kilos, which is 150 pounds or something like that. So it's a great result. But she never realized that the result, and when I say you're not just helping that person to lose weight, that's a life transformation.
it is,
That person now can do a lot of things. So in a month and a half, she went from 380 for 7 months, helping somebody, to 2,800.
wow.
The same service, but just because we work on a mindset. And then one day she came back and she said, you know what? I didn't even know myself. I didn't even know that I had that expertise, that I was changing people's life. I didn't realize that. So she said she took a 90-day coaching, but just in a month and a half, we already have that result. And she said, now my business is not the same, because she had a business for 12 years. And after 12 years, she was still charging 380 euro for 7 months. Can you get it? How much is it per month? The first time I met her, I said, I don't even know how you stay live with a business for 12 years with that. So in a month and a half, the way that she completely changed her mindset, understanding that she really changed people's life, and now she's completely different. And so it changed the service that I bring to her, not only change her business, but also change her life. And then now she can impact more people, because the same, when you don't have that many clients, you can't impact people. If you have a small price and people don't take, because most of the time if you have a low price, people don't take you seriously. So when you understand the value of your services, then suddenly people see you completely differently. And now you have more impact.
Yeah, it's so important for us to see our own value. We have to believe in that first to expect other people to believe that. So that is huge work, and it is a huge mindset shift when you really look at that and see the value. It's not just a temporary thing. You're bringing about life transformation, and it's hard to put a price tag on that, but it's important to understand what that value is and the whole scope of that. So, and with that, that is part of the work that we do with ourselves too, because we're offering our services to each other, and we're constantly, I feel like in our group, we're constantly in this state of growth and expansion. So we've been talking about as far as our app, and we ask others to join us in using that and using that to invest in themselves. And I think this week's universal question is, what is your word for 2022? So is that something you think about, and like for yourself, for your own expansion? And do you have a word yet for 2022?
Yeah. So first of all, I want just to mention that the power of mastermind is very important in order to grow your business. And for me, 2020 is a new life. It's a new chapter of my life, because I just realized a dream that I had for 20 years. Finally, I just got the green card after 20 years in the United States. And that's a part of my life. And now I'm ready for the next big dream, and which is an organization to help children, just to set up everything that I wanted to do for years and years, and to help children.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I feel like there's so many people right now that have just are realizing their dreams, or just, is starting a new chapter. And that is the energy I feel like, we're going into 2022 with. So It's just so incredible, and it's incredible to be part of this group of entrepreneurs that we're in, and helping each other expand and grow, and helping everybody change their life in this way. So
And I just
that is
hope
huge.
and I hope that people will dare to realize their dreams, because there's not dream that you can't succeed. Impossible is not impossible. I mean, I
Right.
was told for 20 years that what I did in the US was not possible, and
Mhm.
I did it. So don't think too small, think big, and just realize all of your dreams, even the widest one.
I believe that too. I always tell people and my clients like this, if it's inside of you, if it's sparked inside of you, that is your soul whispering its desires, and your soul knows the journey you came here to take. So it's not just by fluke that you're hearing that, or you're feeling inspired by a dream. And I too just realized a dream. I just published my first book, so I can understand that, and I congratulate you on realizing your dream and sharing your story, because it is inspiring, that perseverance. Like 20 years you've been dreaming this, and now it's happening, and all that's unfolding because of that, sticking with it and believing in yourself, and staying the course. And that's so powerful. That's such a powerful message. That's really living life full out and living to your potential. That's what our dreams are. They're helping us see the potential, and then we're offered the opportunity to take that walk. So,
And as long as you don't give up on your dream, there's always a way.
yeah, there's always a way. There's always, and it may not unfold the way you envisioned it initially, but that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. So how can people get in contact with you if they want to work with you?
They can go to my website, which is bibapedron.com/US for the US version. And otherwise, they can go on Facebook or LinkedIn, and you put my name, Biba Pedron, and you will just find me.
Awesome. Awesome. And you're also on the KS Media Group app.
Absolutely.
Under the directories, under influencers, you'll find Biba Pedron there, and all of her work, all of her the ways to connect with her as well. So thank you so much for sharing your story, your message with us today. And we're going to
I'm glad to be part of the founding member, because it's a great family. So please join us. Just come.
It is like we're inviting you all to join us. Like we've been talking about, it's so much better when you have you're not doing this alone. Nothing of significance is ever done alone. It's always with others, and we're so much better together than we are as one person. So thank you so much, Biba, for sharing your message, and
Happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us, I am your surprise guest host today, Trish Campbell, also co-host of the Shift podcast on the Transformation Talk Radio Network. And we are having guests from our members of the Kornelia Stephanie Media Group join us today. And we're talking about enlarging life, enlarging people, enlarging our own lives, and inspiring and in the ways we serve others in enlarging their own. So our next guest is Rosita Perez McLaurin, and she is a discovery coach and realtor. She helps individuals find their passion and purpose. And she's also a founding member of the Kornelia Stephanie Media Group app. So welcome, Rosita. Thank you for joining us.
Trish, thanks for having me. If I could just start by saying the Kornelia Stephanie Media Group, being a founding member has been amazing. I've grown in leaps and bounds with the support and the mastermind and the ideas that Kornelia has. It is well worth the investment. And it's such a group where you can feel safe and grow. You don't have to worry about being judged or the competition, which is incredibly, it's energizing compared to any other referral group or network group that I've been with. So I just wanted to start off with that. Thank you.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And I agree with all of that. I think, where else have I been? There's never been a place where I've been in a networking mastermind group, if you will, that you can grow and expand your business, but grow spiritually, have that personal expansion, because we are that collaborative nature. It comes naturally. It's a genuine collaboration, love in business. It does exist. It exists in our group, and it's the people like you that see that immediate value. And that's, really, I think the value comes because we're living integrated lives with what the work that we're doing and how we're serving others. We're walking the walk. We model that for the people that we also serve. So that's what we're talking about today, is how we're serving humanity, sharing our gifts, because we all have them in our own unique ways. And that's such a good point that you made, that in our group, there's a lot of people doing the same things, but we all come at it from a unique way. We all have our own approach. And so continuing on that conversation of serving humanity and serving others, like, I'd like to know how you do that and what you do with the work that you do.
I lost some of that translation.
Okay.
There you're going.
So the question was how you serve humanity, the work that you're doing and how you do that, and for who you do that for.
Okay, so I am a discovery coach and a realtor, and I partner with my clients and walk with them through discovering what they need to come home. Now, coming home, I serve in two different areas for coming home. The first one is coming home could be a physical home when you're buying a home. I walk with my clients to partner with them to help them discover what they need in a home, what they're looking for. And what I've found, Trish, is that it's always so much deeper than the physical home. It could be growing up, they didn't have a backyard, so they want this big, enormous yard, or they never had their room. So they want not just their room, but another room so that they can have whatever they want in those two rooms. I mean, my point is that a lot of times from childhood, our deficiencies of what we didn't get comes out and when you're buying a home. So I listen to my clients and I help them to better understand what their needs are emotionally, sometimes spiritually, physically, and financially. I walk with them through the whole process and even afterwards. Another way you could come home is when you are opening and unpacking boxes, right, of your life. We've put aside a lot of those and packed them in a nice little Pandora's box, right? Whether it's pain, trauma, so many things that we go through in stages in life. And as women, we tend to take care of everybody else and neglect our own needs. But also what that does is we're neglecting dealing with whatever hinders us in our past, in our current, whatever it is. Right. So as humans, we constantly are evolving because we go through different stages in our life, whether it's getting married, getting divorced, empty nesting, a new job, becoming an entrepreneur. There's so many different facets of our life where sometimes the change knocks us down.
Right.
And go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's so interesting the way that you're speaking to, like, this analogy of a physical home representing what's going on internally or what has gone on in our life up until that point, and we're seeking externally to fulfill that, what you said, deficiency or that hole, that gap, whatever that is, with something external. But really the coming home is like the coming home inward. And everything you're saying is so resonant because, like, you also talked about I think living to others' expectations and that is so, I so relate to that story because that was my story too of, we're on this path and then at one point we get to this point where at some point we'll get there, like, what am I doing, or what is my purpose? Or we want to unpack those boxes that we have stored away neatly that we didn't have to deal with, like you say, and then really figure out what it is that is behind that, what is within that right. is missing, that we're seeking externally, because it really is inside of us already. I believe that's, the journey I've been on and what I have come to know and talk about in my book, and the self-love journey, and finding, it's really about building that home within yourself, no matter where your physical home is, you're always at home. So it's so beautiful the way you have tied together the work that, you take finding people their actual home so much further than just a physical dwelling. It's a spiritual dwelling as well. And
Yeah.
and you see that, and what a beautiful experience to combine those two, because it is really that's what it's really about. So it's like you've kind of naturally come into this being a discovery coach now, focusing more on that home within ourselves. And
Yes.
while still, leveraging that experience of finding people their homes, and the experience of connecting with people in that way. So it's so beautiful, so unique,
Thank
and
you.
such a beautiful gift to share and to serve the world in this way. So authentic. So thank you. I'm so grateful you're a part of our group and that we've connected in the way we have. And so because we're in this group, we're always, like I said, it's not just about growing our businesses, it's about growing ourselves, like spiritually expanding in that way. And we're entering a new year now. We've come through 2021. A lot has happened. I know a lot personally. And do you have a theme or a word for 2022 that you want to kind of energize?
Well, I just feel that 2022 is going to be busting at the seams. Like there's going to be so much going on, so much excitement. So my two words for next year are intentional and balance.
Oh, I love that. So balance in what way? Is there something specific, or just balance?
Well, when you learn what your gift is and you start operating in it, it no longer becomes work. And
right.
So I'm constantly like, oh yeah, I got to do this, or, oh, that's a great idea. So I'm constantly on. So I have to find balance in work and then spending time with people and not just focusing on, my career.
On doing, I can relate to that too, because I think sustainability is one of my words. And it's like, you have to allow that time to not always be doing, but to be in the receiving, just to be in the human being. And that's a big, way to bring in balance, is to kind of be intentional around that. So that's beautiful. Yeah. What are some ways that, how can people get in touch with you to work with you?
So I am on Facebook, either Rosita Sells Homes Today or Moving Forward for Life. My website is movingforwardforlife.com. And all my information's on there. You can contact me, make a complimentary appointment with me, and let's just chat.
Yeah, lovely. And you're also, again, on the Kornelia Stephanie Media Group app as under Directories and Influencers, and yes, you'll find all the ways to connect with Rosita there as well. And so thank you for sharing everything you're working on and inspiring so many. That is such a beautiful story. And I wish you continued success with all the work that you're doing, and so grateful that you were a part of this amazing group together.
Can I just say one other thing?
Yeah.
Trish?
Yes.
When we go through the life changes that we go through, it's important to, while we're sitting on our butt from getting knocked out from this change that we're going through, we can sit there and make a choice. We can stay down and be defeated. Mm-hmm. Or we can learn to do what needs to be done so that we can get up and thrive.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to make that choice. Otherwise, you're going to stay down.
It is a choice. From that point of awareness, you have a choice. And we'll end on that note. We're going to take a quick break. Thank you again, Rosita, for joining us, and Happy New Year.
Thank you so much, Trish.
Everyone, in case you're just joining us, I'm your surprise guest host, Trish Campbell, co-host of the Shift podcast on the Transformation Talk Radio Network, with my good friend Diane McClay, who happens to be our next guest. So welcome, Diane. Welcome in. We're talking about how we're serving humanity, sharing our gifts. As Dr. Pat says, living life full out. I love that line, and that's what we do, I think, in our work. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and to properly introduce Diane, she is the founder of the Choice and Courage Company. She is a self-empowerment coach, and she is a champion of choice and courage, and a author, a storyteller, an amazing storyteller, and again, co-host of the Shift podcast with me. So I want to, just get right in there and talk about the work that you're doing, maybe, how you serve people, who you work with, and just go ahead.
Okay, well, thanks for the opportunity. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. We're approaching the new year. For some people, January 1st, the flip of the calendar invigorates people to start new pieces of their lives, make new commitments. I live a lifestyle where I do that every day, like all year long. I don't wait for the calendar to turn. And I encourage other people to do the same thing. And on the Shift podcast, where we talk about perspective and the power to change, that really came about when I was about 45. I was 20 years into my career, and a decision had to be made about whether I stayed with this dream agency that I was working with. And there were some things that weren't going right, and there were some decisions that I wasn't making at the time that were congruent with what the agency wanted. And I was offered a position 6 hours away from my family and my home. And in that moment, I realized that I had choice. And for listeners who can't see my office, I have 2 words on the back of my wall. One is choice and one is courage. And I realized as that process was unfolding, and as I was reacting to what was being presented at me and towards me, rather than responding. There's a difference, and I think we can get into that. What I realized is in that moment, I didn't have to do the things that everybody else expected me to do. And I didn't have to do them the way they wanted me to do them in the time frame that they wanted me to do them, whoever they is. And there was literally a light switch that went off in my chest about empowering my own life through choice, making small decisions that move me forward in a way that makes me feel in alignment with my values and what I want to put into the world. And I started building a business around it. And so that's kind of what I do. I help people affect positive change in their life by making small choices. The 2 questions I ask people are, what if and why not? What if it could be different, and why not try something? The worst that's going to happen is you're going to get information one way or the other that tells you that maybe you need to go in a different direction.
Right. I thank you for sharing that journey. And I want to go back to what you talked about, because something stood out to me when you talked about, you were living a dream. You were with like working in a job that was your dream, that you had dreamed of being there. And with that, and then you also introduced the expectations of whoever they is. But I think with that, when we have those dreams and we're living that, and then we think we have to, there's the expectation woven within that dream. It's like we have to stick with it. And so that is just so beautiful that you had the awareness that maybe I don't need to just keep on reacting, that I have a choice here. Now that I have this awareness of this doesn't align for me anymore. And I think that's so important, because a lot of times, I know for me, like even as I've grown and expanded, is I've held on to dreams that I had when I was before I grew. And then it's almost like somebody asks you, what's your dream? And I spurt it out, and it's like, wait a minute, that's my dream still? Like, because it doesn't align anymore. So I think it's so important what you've just shared, that just because something is our dream, like we can, those dreams are, whether they've happened or they didn't happen, there's a certain point that there's a lesson there. And it's, a point of awareness that we have to then glean that wisdom and then make choices, have the courage to do something different, to go inside. Like Rosita and I were just talking about the home within ourselves, and that's where the wisdom lies. So it's so beautiful that you took that path, and you're helping others take that path.
I think that it's true that we don't always get to choose what happens to us. Right. But I'm a firm believer that we absolutely get to choose. We have the power to choose how we react, or how we respond, or if it defines us. And then if it does define us, we actually get to choose how it defines us. Mm-hmm. And I help, my client base are usually women, but I help men too, somewhere in the, 40 to 65 range, people who are there's something inside them that something needs to be different. They're feeling stuck. They're feeling overwhelmed. They're not quite sure where to go or how to get themselves started. Some of my favorite clients are creatives and healers and positive change makers, where they're entrepreneurs and they have an idea of what they want to put in the world, but they've got so much going on in their head, they don't know where to start. Mm-hmm. And one of my special talents is that I have a unique ability to kind of hear a lot of data. I can sort of sort it out, and my brain starts going to, I draw mind maps in my head, metaphors, analogies, storytelling. And I have this way of being able to extrapolate out nuggets that people overlook or they don't really pay attention to. And then I can reframe that and put that back into a way that they can get a starting place, or they can feel less overwhelmed, or they can prioritize. And I like to talk about that I generate real-time awareness. Mm-hmm. And that's key, right? Real-time awareness. It's happening as we're talking, and it's going to come back at my clients in a very short period of time so that they can do something with it immediately. And then we're going to explore perspective, what if and why not? Mm-hmm. But then we're going to ignite action, meaningful action, by picking one of those things and saying, what's the most important thing that you want to start on? And I feel like that's, I didn't realize that kind of solution generating was needed in the world. But the more I do it and the more people interact with me as I connect with them on generating solutions, it shifts the energy. I think it's different. Problem solving is one set of skills. Generating solutions is a different set of skills. And that's what I help people do.
Yeah, you're so right with that. They are two different things. And you are definitely gifted in that. I've experienced it myself, like the way that you mind map and pick out things that people, those little nuggets, like you said, that we don't see ourselves. And that's why it's so important to know that you don't have to do any of this alone. That's why we're here to help others do that. But we're also here doing that with each other in the group that we're in too. Like we are in that constant state of expansion and growth and helping each other. And I think it's important to call out that it's having somebody else maybe see something in yourself that you don't necessarily see yourself, or have kind of put on the back burner or whatever, thought that it wasn't important. But that's where a lot of our unique gifts lie, is in those little things that we've kind of, pushed away, that is just, it's not important, or it doesn't have value. But it's working with people to, like yourself, to uncover what that value is, and to understand that there is more to the story than we're allowing there to be. So I think it's so important that people know they have those resources, definitely within our group. And that's one of the unique things about what we're doing too together, is we're helping each other expand and grow by seeing those things within each other in the weekly meetings we have, and uncovering gifts that we didn't know we had ourselves with each other. Like it comes up so naturally, like we don't even have to necessarily put that intention there to say, hey, we're going to work on this today. It just naturally comes out. And that is the beauty of the work that we do, is to remain open and to be in a place of awareness, and be in a place of empowerment when we have that intention, when we set out to not just be so reactionary all the time.
Right. And let's define, can we define reaction versus response? I mean,
yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
So I think that reaction is when something happens and you go into an automatic, someone cuts you off when you're on the freeway, and suddenly you get mad, right? You get angry that jerk cut you off on the freeway. But a response would be different if you say, I wonder if there's a reason why that guy's driving fast. Mm-hmm. Is there a legitimate reason why they're weaving in and out of traffic? They may have a sick child they're getting to the hospital. They may be a firefighter trying to get to their job. So reaction is when we just go into an automatic, our body reacts, our mind reacts, our words react, and we don't even think about that there could be a different possibility. And right. I think when we know that we have a reaction, we're allowing other people to control how we feel. When we go to a response, we've done the work inside ourselves, to choose which direction we want to think about the situation and to ask if there are alternatives that could guide us in a different direction.
Right. I think that's so important to define those two words and the energy around those. I want to continue that. We're going to take a quick break, but I want to continue on that thought and break that down a little bit further. So we'll be right back after this break. Pet Show, everyone. If you're just tuning in, I'm your surprise guest host, Trish Campbell, and we're talking with my co-host of the Shift podcast, Diane McClay. And just before the break, we were talking about the difference between response and reaction. And I think, you had such a good point about breaking, down those two terms and the energies around them. And it's so important right now, I think, because like we do have a choice. A lot of us have been, I think if the last couple of years have shown us anything, we were operating on autopilot, and that now we have a choice. Like we've been forced to pause, and hopefully if you had that awareness and taking that opportunity, it's really a good thing to do that and to allow yourself, that power, to reclaim that power back and not just be so reactionary. And we're all walking around with things that are unsaid and unseen, and understand that maybe there's something behind something that's just happened to us out of the blue or whatever. So it's good to have that awareness around our responses, and that we can respond and not react, and can be intentional and can have a choice there and take that choice. So I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to say about that, Diane.
Yeah, when we're in the discovery or exploration stage about wanting to change something, I talk about 3 stages. One is slow down, which you just mentioned. Sometimes we're forced to have a pause. Sometimes we need to take it on our own. Mm-hmm. The second is create space. And then the third is just ask a value-oriented question. And a value-oriented question could be something as simple as, does this feel right? Or is this where I want to be? And I know one of the things that's exciting about the Kornelia Stephanie Media Group app that we've all put together is that every week we're coming up with valued questions that people can journal into their own private journal, and they can start that reflective process, right, Trish?
Right. And that's called the universal question that we're asking everybody. And we're not just asking everybody to do it, we're doing it ourselves. And like I talked about before, we're in this constant state of growth and expansion ourselves. And that's why, we're such a powerful team in doing what we're doing. Why it's so unique, because we're integrating this into our lives. We're walking the walk and asking ourselves those questions and deepening the connection with ourselves. And I think when we do deepen that connection with ourselves, that's how we're able to come from those places of operating from intention rather than reaction, and making a choice in the moment, and taking a pause, and allowing ourselves that moment to take a pause and not have to just keep going to the next thing, whatever it is. And that's what's gotten us into this autopilot mode, which has taken us away from ourselves and from who we are and who we came here to be. So that universal question that we ask in the app every week is really a place where people can contemplate what's true for them, uncover their truths, and start to learn more about themselves. I mean, that's why we created this app, right?
Right. Well, and let's tell people again, they can get the app at the Google Play Store or wherever you get your Android downloads. And basically, we want people to not sign up. We want them to actually create an account for themselves, because there's some content that gets revealed when you create the account. You don't get to see everything if you just kind of download it and skim the top, right?
Right. Creating the profile. It's all free content, but it's creating the profile will allow you access to all of the content in there. And the universal question is, I think, the big, every week we're doing this work. And when you do this work regularly, you'll see the shifts happen in your life, and you'll see the change and the transformation without even, without any effort. And it's just a natural progression. And there's so many other great, amazing aspects of this app. I mean, we're the one-stop shop for living your best life. Anything you could possibly need for healing, for health and fitness, health and wellness, alternative medicine, functional medicine. We have Ayurvedic medicine. And we're really that one-stop shop for whatever you need. A lot of us have, picked up that habit of picking up our phones, and why not do something that's going to help improve your life rather than waste time and energy? And really that's like what, creating a space of intention and of awareness is about, is not just autopilot picking up the phone. So pick up the phone and go somewhere that's going to feed your mind, body, and spirit, right? Like, I think that's so important. I mean, and so many people are looking for something like that. That's why we created this.
Well, and it's intentional and it's deliberate, right? I mean, the content that gets put in there is intentionally created. It's deliberately created. It's with a purpose. Everybody who's adding something in, whether it's an article, whether it's a journal question, whether it's I know David George Brooke he just did a how to be a speaker class that a lot of people in our master class had the opportunity to take. So as we build this app out, there's going to be an opportunity to have access to programs and to things that are going to enhance your life, whether it's on the professional side or whether it's the personal side. But for me, it's very deliberate. It's very intentional. And I like the energy that's around that.
Yeah, that is the whole point behind it. And really it's so much more for somebody who's an entrepreneur like yourself and I. Like, we are a part of this group of entrepreneurs, and we're helping each other expand and grow personally, professionally. But when you are positioned in this group, like, we're all featured in the app, so we're not just saying go to my website and connect with me there. When people are coming to the app, they're getting so much more. They're getting access to so much more than they could have ever possibly imagined. I mean, there's the podcast that we have each week, and now we're having an ascension focus weekly. So there's conversations there that can help people expand and grow. And it's just, there's so much more leverage in as an entrepreneur, and having the app as a foundation for what we're doing and what we're offering. It's like, you can literally get lost in there and, go from person to thing to thing, podcast, article, the courses you mentioned. We're looking at doing summits within the app, and all these great things that are happening, focusing on for the upcoming year and beyond that. And we're all founding members of that. And I'm, so grateful that we have had that opportunity to be a part of this creation and offer it to the collective in this way. So what did we say? We're the new house. Like, we're creating the new earth in this way. So it's so beautiful, and such an important resource for people to know that they have this at their fingertips 24/7 to access.
Well, I think this is important as we go into the new year for people who make resolutions about wanting, this is the time of year that we're told we should shift things in our lives. Some people believe in resolutions, some people don't. But regardless of where you stand on that, this is a new beginning, and it's not just January 1st. The new earth is happening, the new feminine space is happening, the new, the dawn of Aquarius, where creatives and collaboration and communication is the mainstay rather than the side dish. And the app it's really good if you have an intention of changing something about your life. If you have a resolution that you want to be different, this is a great place to start, because you have a really nice menu to choose from, and you're not locked into a gym membership or a program or this and that. It's all free.
Right. And we always look at this time a lot, collectively speaking, to start that fitness program or whatever on January 1st. And this is really, our lives change when we focus internally and we build that connection within ourselves. And what you'll find in the app, those resources that are there are just that, like helping us come back to ourselves, helping us find what our truth is by like going into the journal, listening to the conversations that we're having, finding the parallels in our lives, and then coming from a place of awareness and healing. There's a lot of healing that's happening within the conversations that we're having within the app. in the work that we're all doing. It's really healing in our own ways, whether that's through creativity, whether that's through energy work, whether that's through storytelling. It is all coming back to healing ourselves, our mind, our body and spirit, that connection, and really offering us that gift of uncovering who we really came here to be.
Right. And if we want to create that transformational shift inside ourselves or in our workplace or within our families, I've got 3 takeaways for our audience. And
Okay.
one is you assess what's going on. Just look, observe, feel. The next one is prioritize. What needs to change now? What is the most important thing? Even if it's something simple. And the last one is act, take meaningful action. So assess, prioritize, and act. You do that on any level, and I guarantee you that the shift is going to start happening. It always starts with us.
Yeah, it does start with us. I agree, Diane. So how can people get in touch with you if they want to work with you?
Jump on the app. They can download it. They can go to diamondclay.com. But really, the app is the best place to catch me. You can connect to all of my Instagram, social media, Facebook links, LinkedIn, that kind of stuff. Kornelia KS Media Group app, and download it, become a member, and then you get good stuff.
Yeah, and if you're an entrepreneur looking for a community to build and grow your business and expand yourself personally, reach out to us. I'm Trish Campbell, also in the app. Diane McClay, we're both influencers in the app, along with Kornelia Stephanie, the founder of the KS Media Group app. So you'll find all of our work there. Get it in your app store, Google Play. And thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Dr. Pat, for allowing us this platform to share our message, to share our gifts and how we're serving humanity, to live life full out in real time. Thank you again, and be well. Happy New Year to everyone.